everybody. Welcome to Sinister. I'm Josh Zeman. Now, every year, more than 5,000 murders in the United States go unsolved. Some are random, some are targeted, and some start to form a pattern. But what happens when nobody is looking for that pattern? What happens when nobody's there to connect the dots? Well, today on Sinister, I'm speaking with Thomas Hargrove, a data journalist and the founder of the Murder Accountability Project. Tom built an algorithm to do what most law enforcement can't, which is find clusters, flag anomalies, and identify potential serial killers hiding in plain sight. Tom's work has quietly uncovered some of the most disturbing trends in unsolved homicides across the country. And the scariest part is that it's all there, hidden in the data. This is the story of how a journalist with a spreadsheet is doing more to track unsolved serial murders across America than some of the institutions designed to stop them. So without further ado, Thomas Hargrove. You know, one of the biggest takeaways that I had from the killing season was that cities and where there are active serial killers that were theoretically unsolved or just had recently been solved were all cities that were under consent decree, meaning serial killers were acting out and killing because they believed they could do it, because the law enforcement in said community was not community-based.
Well, unfortunately, the good news is that most serial killers are messies. They don't really think so deeply.
Yeah.
They're usually even the organized killers. There's disorganized and organized killers. The disorganized killers are mental cases who are really opportunistic. They murder when there's a chance to murder. Organized serial killers are a little different. They're a little better at it, but even they are not thinking deep thoughts very often about the nature of the police department. They are probably the component that decline the most. I mean, serial murder is on the decline. It's the organized killers that are declining because they're at least aware enough to know that the odds of them getting caught have gone up quite a bit.
Yeah, they've been replaced with spree murderers, though. No?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the spree murders are the new serial killings of previous, with a lot more.
I'm open to a theory as to why that is, but yeah, that's
why.
Lies. Yeah.
Well, you could talk to everybody. It's all about the illusion of the self. It's all about the self and going out in the blaze of glory, but it's all about the self. It's all about this trends that have been going on with regards to both the atomization of society and individuals, but also the inflated self. You can be the best. It's about you. There's no community anymore.
Okay, I'll buy that.
Yeah,
I certainly believe that ultimately it's community building that will get us back on a better track.
Absolutely. I mean, speak to guys like Mark Safrick. Mark Safrick used to be part of the BAU. What was his concentration? Serial murder. Now what he's writing books about? Spree killings. Why? Because it's about why you're doing it, sexual rage, what have you. But, who are spree killers? 99% young males. What's going on? A loneliness epidemic. What is that about? Call it all the different things that you want, the internet, high school sports, all those things. But you're talking about young men who don't have an outlet, and want to go out. Anyway, let's talk about LISK. Okay. So when I can you believe that LISK got caught? We haven't even spoke about this.
Yeah. I certainly can believe he was caught. I was impressed that it was by the FBI using old evidence, that there was really nothing new. It just finally properly processing the very limited number of clues they had using the telephone records. It was damn good police work. I mean, probably at a level that we hardly ever see in America.
Sure.
So it was clever, and the Bureau gets lots of kudos for that. Yeah, because frequently, I should say, the serial killers are caught because they make a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
They're caught during a commission of a crime, or they do something stupid, and they get caught.
Like driving without plates with a body in the back.
Yeah.
Now, is it damn good police work if the clue was already in the files?
Sure. Yeah. You get points for that.
Okay.
But I mean, this could have been solved 10 years sooner, but they got him, or they made an arrest. I have no reason to think he's the wrong guy. So
But, I mean, you got to look at both the DNA evidence, the planning documents, and all that other stuff.
yeah.
I saw recently that you did a piece in Newsday, Long Island's newspaper, where over 101 women were found in these outdoor clusters since 1976. Can you tell me about those clusters and kind of what you found looking at the Long Island case?
So if you go to our website and you go to if you go to the algorithm, the county clusters section, you'll see a giant circle sitting over Long Island. And that's the algorithm still pinging something bad. Hey, everybody, something bad happened in Long Island. If you go to the search cases tab and you pick New York for state, and you pick what are the two counties in Long
Suffolk
Island?
and Nassau.
Thank you, Suffolk and Nassau counties. And then you pick female for victim, and you pick other or type unknown weapons for weapon. You'll see what are the patterns that we now call LISK, the Long Island serial killer.
Oh, great. Let's do that. Let's do that right now. Okay, so we are now. Oh, look at this. Gilgo Beach killings, breaking news. Judge said he will rule on hair DNA admissibility on September 3rd. Very interesting. I look forward to what's going to happen there. Okay, but let's show the folks at home how this is going to happen. I would go to murderaccountability.com. Is that right?
Yeah.
There it is. Okay, I'm there.
Okay. And then you go to search cases.
Search cases. Got it.
And then you select under state, New York.
Okay. Stand by. Going to make my screen a little bit larger for the folks at home. Search cases right here. New York.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beautiful. And then you go to Suffolk and Nassau counties. So under county.
Oh, wait, hold on.
So under state, you pick New York.
State.
Deselect all and select New York.
How do I deselect all? Oh, I see. Got it.
And then
okay. Now I go to New York. Got it.
Good. And you see that big decline in murder? That's the New York miracle.
Oh, interesting.
Now, under county,
yep.
Deselect all.
Yep.
And select Nassau and Suffolk counties.
I think this is Suffolk, New York, hopefully. And then Nassau. Nassau, New York. Got it. Cool.
Now under, did you pick victim female?
No.
Okay, victim female.
Victim.
Deselect all, select female.
Yep, got it.
Good. Now under weapon.
Yep.
Deselect all.
Yep.
And select other or type unknown. Other or type unknown.
Other or type unknown. Got it.
Good. Now, what just happened is the bar on the left just flipped. It went from mostly gray to mostly red. You see? And when I do this demonstration for detectives, usually we use the Green River Killer as our teaching zone. But I tell the detectives, if you ever see the bars flip so that the red bar, meaning uncleared, is much bigger than the gray bar, meaning cleared, then you better know what happened, ladies and gentlemen, because sooner or later it's going to bite you in the ass.
You mean things like this?
Yeah. And so what you were looking at are actually there's more than one serial killer, but primarily the LISK was active from the early 80s until Gilgo Beach.
Well,
so 2000. So in fact, some of the larger clusters are the Gilgo Beach discoveries, and
that would be these, right? Yeah. So this is 2000. Well, at least I could tell you right here, 2013. Huh, that's interesting. Yep. That's that discovery, or because it's also when they get entered, right?
Right. Now you can actually download these records, so you see all the particulars of the age, race, sex of the victims, and so forth. But now let's just talk about this. This is a classic serial killer pattern.
Because
we see a sudden increase in crimes of a particular kind. It's also classic in that Um, Strangulation is a common weapon in serial murder because they like that hands-on
Yep.
feeling, but also other type unknown weapons. This happens when bodies were recovered out of doors.
Huh.
Women, when they're murdered, usually are murdered indoors. In fact, 58% of the time, they're murdered in their own homes.
Right.
And so to have body recovery sites for women out of doors is very unusual.
Right. That points to a serial murder, does it not?
It does. It can. It does. When you see this kind of pattern where almost all of these are unsolved, then
Yeah.
something, the most charitable explanation for local police is serial murder,
Hmm.
because any other explanation reflects very badly on them.
This is very interesting. Now, so for example, the first LISK that we know of theoretically is 1993.
The killer was active much younger than that.
Right. By definition of this or this.
Yeah. So when you see the clustering starting where it is overwhelmingly red,
Is
and
that here?
yes,
But
and
but we're only talking
19,
about one record.
I would say 1982, 83, 83, 80. Yeah,
So
that's
we're only talking about
83.
one murder
Yep.
on Long Island.
Yep. But one unsolved murder in which the body was recovered out of doors
Outside. I see. I see.
and
Right.
not cleared. You're looking for
And
red,
two.
and
Right.
what you're seeing is an ocean of red.
Huh. Yes. Look at that. 4. Oh, I get it now. 2, 3, unsolved, outside. Right. And
Yeah.
then look this. Gee. And this is when they're being reported, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So
Very interesting.
I urge the Newsday to do this story, and they did. They did a good job. In fact, they ended up surprising me
Like what
because
the heck?
they ended up with uh, well more than 100 body recovery sites of women that occurred out of doors.
Uh-huh.
And that was surprising. The reporter called me, and she was a little down because she said, a lot of these victims are prostitutes, and she didn't think that fit the pattern.
What do you mean?
Yeah, exactly. And I said, no, no, no. It proves it
Of
proves.
course it proves the pattern. Why? But I don't understand, why would she even think that?
I don't know. I don't know. It's
Fine.
just that this perhaps bad relations with a John, or
Yeah.
it added
Confu-
uh, another level of uncertainty as to what the crime really was. Because there were disproportionately um, uh, sex
sex
worker
work,
victims. But actually,
i.e. serial murder.
yeah, right. A detective in Dallas once explained it to me. You almost have to pity the poor serial killer. What other kind of woman is going to get into your panel van?
Well, I mean, alleged, but look at the alleged Rex Heuermann. There was obviously a kind of, I think what we now know, alleged, but there has something to do with his physical self being so large, that we think might have been involved in bullying, that might have kind of led to some behaviors. But we also know that there were some interactions with some sex workers who found him to be so ogre-like, and that almost set him off. So there's something to be found there as well. Not
That's another point we often tell police. If you think you're up against a serial killer, you really should be interviewing your police officers and interviewing sex workers, because this guy is already known to you.
absolute.
He's already in your records. He's already known by sex workers. This is the guy you don't want to have a date with. You can find all kinds of useful information by just interviewing sex workers.
Now, can you please you said that he's been killing before his first known victim in 1993.
Yeah. So the recovery, there were 4 recovered in 2010, and 6 recovered in, where was it, 7 in 2013. Had we gone in a time machine back to 2009, we knew that there was a serial killer because they were all recovered at Gilgo Beach, and bodies
Sure.
illegally buried in a row, scream serial murder. So there was never any debate as to whether this was a serial case once the Gilgo Beach bodies were recovered. But what about the dozens and dozens of other women who were murdered out of doors, body recovery sites out of doors? That one wasn't obvious until you look at the data the way we just did.
Mm-hmm.
If we go back to 2009,
Mm-hmm.
before anybody was dug up at Gilgo Beach, I would have told you you probably have a serial killer.
Based upon the number of reps.
Pattern you just saw, it's suddenly all turning red.
Yeah.
Failure to solve records of a particular kind.
Right.
Yeah.
Basically, you could have looked and said, based upon this red here, that there's an active serial killer, no doubt.
I would have said it's highly likely.
Highly likely. Now, where I start to question is there another dumping ground? Because we believe that there might be. We've got some individuals here. I mean, did that say 5? Look at that.
Yeah. 2010. 4 of those are the first Gilgo Beach victims.
Okay, got it. Right. But then what's that?
That's the other 6.
Okay, but
The other 6 women.
sure, the other 6 women, but we now know, for example, our first victim was killed in 1996. This would be Fire Island Jane Doe. Is that?
I believe the pattern goes back further than that.
Sure, but I'm just asking for the sake of understanding the data. Is this Fire Island Jane Doe here because the year she was found? Or is this Fire Island Jane Doe because the year she was found? And are we also conflating body parts found in here, like, for example, her head, with body parts that are found here, i.e. her legs?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
To be honest with you, I don't know.
So,
And maybe she might not have been reported to the FBI at all, for all we know.
so this could even be others.
Yeah, well, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I have little doubt. In fact, I spoke to the annual meeting of the 2017 Mid-Atlantic Homicide Investigators Association. And there were several detectives from Long Island. And so we had a little chat on the side at the convention. And I said, guys, 10 is not the right number. 10 is not the right number.
Mm-hmm.
They all solemnly nodded and said, yes, sir, we know that. And I said, it's more than 40.
What?
And they were.
I'm sorry. You're saying that there's more than you believe that LISK has more than 40 victims?
I'm saying that there are more than 40 victims here that you can download the records for that have an elevated probability of being serial.
Okay.
In fact, do you want to do that right now? Here,
I would love to do that.
So click on the red bar to the left, the big red bar to the left. Click on that. Good. Click on again. Now go all the way there, hit that, and then hit the full data on the left, and then go. How come wait a minute. There are only 2 records.
Oh, that's because I've got this one thing.
Yeah, you go back.
Yeah.
Get out of that.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Okay.
Let me get out.
Look out. Good. Now click on click on that. Go. Repeat. Go over.
Got it.
Full data.
Yep.
Upper right-hand corner under show fields, click at the very top all. Go to the very top and click all. I want you to have everything the FBI was told. Good.
Yep.
And now you can download those records. How many records are there? Go to the
51.
bottom. 51. Okay.
Okay.
I would say there's an elevated probability that most of those 51 are serial.
Okay. But here's my question. This isn't even a full reporting.
No, only the bodies that we know about.
The
bodies that we know about that were reported to the FBI.
Can I put these in some kind of AI program that would then allow me to drill down further?
I don't think so, because you've already identified the cluster.
Right.
What else could an AI do with that?
Well, it could match up, because I remember I've tried to do this sometimes a little bit before, but it was always like matching up, like, oh, that's Tina Foglia. Oh, that's Carmen Vargas. Like, I was trying to match the data with the cases that I knew.
Yeah. If we had NIBRS level information, then and we don't. This is all under the old system.
Sure.
If we had NIBRS level information, the one thing that the data could tell you was, good heavens, these women were all murdered out of doors.
Yeah.
And their body recovery sites were out of doors.
Right.
And that alone is a big flashing red light.
So let's say that I got everybody on the Reddit LISK site together, and I said, hey, can somebody take each of these crimes, and let's build our own almost NIBR system, i.e., you put in what we would want. Could we then do that?
Sure. And in fact, I would recommend asking Newsday for their list. They went back through laboriously through all of their records for every female murder recovered out of doors, and they
Okay,
came up with a much larger list than anybody knew about.
sure.
It was a surprise to me when they published a number that was 3 digits.
101, right. So now we just have to see how far they went down. And then could you point me, or could you send me basically a NIBR form?
Sure. You can copy it from our data and docs section, the NIBR's file on how to use NIBRs.
Yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is, if we could go through and kind of almost prove that it works, or in our way, and then from that create,
Yeah, yeah.
create some,
The NIBR's handbook is there.
right. User manual for NIBR, right?
Yep, that's it.
We also want to know, have you looked at any other theoretical clusters of the alleged Rex Heuermann, based
No.
upon information about Las Vegas and South Carolina?
There are plenty of possible victims in Las Vegas.
Yes.
In fact, finding the bodies of women in the desert is a real issue in Vegas. There are scores of women whose bodies were recovered out in the desert.
Hmm.
Um, in fact, I went with a tour. There was a fire investigator in North Vegas, and we went on a tour of the desert. And it's a weird place, Vegas. In the desert outside of the city, it's like a vast graveyard of burned out cars.
Hmm.
And so, what people do is when they've lost everything in Vegas, they'll take the last thing they own, which is their car, and they'll drive it out into the desert, pour gasoline on it, set it on fire, and then file a stolen vehicle claim with their insurance agency.
Hmm.
So, in addition to finding bodies of people, which that's happened many, many times, there's also bodies of cars. I mean, it's a vast graveyard outside Vegas. Yes. So, could if the Long Island serial killer had a place in Vegas, are there possible women that would match? Absolutely, the exact same pattern.
Have you specifically drilled down into that data?
I've had conversations with Vegas police, and I showed them. They've downloaded the FBI records, um, and they've thought about it. Unfortunately, like everyone else, they're overwhelmed, and they don't really have any kind of cold case unit, and there are just so many. But you
Sure.
can do it yourself. You can do it right now. But I mean, don't. It'll and there are plenty. And so, could the LISK, if the LISK had a link to Vegas, are there cases that would match? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Plenty.
Well, so what has been your conversations with the um, with the Suffolk County Police Department?
At the 2017 annual meeting of the Mid-Atlantic Homicide Investigators Association, held in Annapolis, Maryland, I had conversation with Long Island investigators, and the basic message in that conversation was that 10 is not the right number for LISK, that there are far, far more. I showed them the data that you just looked at, and they agreed that that the pattern was far larger than just the bodies recovered at Gilgo Beach. They said they were aware of that. Also, some conversations with the FBI about LISK, and they also are very much aware of that and assured me that they were.
What were the nature of those conversations?
We were talking about. I was talking to a, a contact I have in Quantico, and we were talking about hotspots of unsolved cases. Big hotspot in Chicago, big hotspot in Long Island. So and they were as aware of the data as I was, that there are dozens of cases that are perfect matches for the same pattern at Gilgo Beach.
Any places that you're particularly looking at in terms of unsolved serial killers?
Right now,
Yeah.
no. So serial murder is on the decline and has been for quite a while. Partly because the organized killer has become aware that technology's gotten better, and that if this is a sexual crime, they're more likely now to be caught than they ever were. And when you watch movies and TV shows, one of the most important things the FBI ever did was to give the phenomenon a name, serial killer, and Hollywood took it over. So that half of all TV shows and movies are about serial killers. And if you're a would-be serial killer and you're thinking that's not a good career path, because these guys all get caught, often gunned down in the final reel. Why do I want that? So that helped. That clearly helped.
You mean that mythology helped?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we all know that, I was just literally having a conversation with somebody recently about, the pop culture myth that the profiler is somehow working magic, when in fact that's not true at all.
No, but there's something to profiling.
Sure.
No question. And I would say that a serial killer doesn't like the reputation that serial killers get on mass media.
No,
So
but
this is a situation where Hollywood has done a good thing.
I would also contend that, but what if Hollywood did the data as well as they did the Sherlock Holmes profiler?
That's data. Data are boring. So I what was it? Numbers. There was a series about
But
yeah, but they had to bend over backwards to make it look interesting. Yeah, it's a problem.
yeah,
Yeah.
Tom, it is always a pleasure. Please, if you find out anything new, please get in touch with us. But once again, I'm just fascinated both by what you can do, but also, and just for everybody out there, this data is available. Don't be like the police. Don't think that you can't get in there and figure it out. It's really not that difficult. Number one. Number two, you should be knowing what's going on. Number three, it's cool. And number four, this will be the future of solving crimes, whether you like it or not. You know what I'm saying? Data will be it. So if you're testing the latest, if you want to go test the latest AI out there, go use some of this data to figure it out.
Very good. I couldn't have said it better.
All right. Thank you, Tom. Great. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me, Josh. You
As
slew
always.
up.